We continue Maple's story from where we left off from the last episode, where she dumped all her stats into Vitality and obtained gear so strong that she could take on masses of other players and still win. She also took part in another in-game event with her friend Sally, and they obtained new pets and made some new friends at the same time. This time though, we see Maple meeting with Sally once more as they discuss the introduction of guild houses. They go on house hunting as they explore all their available options. After a while, they spot a tree house that was still vacant and they decide to take it. After realizing that the house was perhaps a little bit too big for the two of them, they decide to create a guild and to invite more people in. Kasumi and Kanade were their first invitees, followed by East, the blacksmith, and Kuromo, who was also invited. Maple is later unilaterally voted to be the guild master, and she decides that the name Maple Tree will be the name of their guild. As they set off outside later on, the trio then sets off to mine some minerals within a mine, while Sally then goes off to do some hunting with Kasumi and Kuromo. A guild meeting regarding the upcoming third and fourth events, and the new third level that's soon to be released is held. The third event is themed around defeating a special monster and collecting its drops, and is set for a week after. The fourth event, however, is a guild competition, and Maple Tree realizes that they don't have a lot of members and need to recruit more. Sally and Maple goes on a recruitment run and decides to go down to the first floor as the competition on the second floor is rather stiff. The duo finds a pair of newbie players from our earlier episode, and Maple decides to try getting them into the guild instead. They get to know each other more in a cafe that they frequent, and Maple learns that they both maxed out strength and nothing else. Reminding us of someone that we all know, the pair of young sisters get inspired by Maple's stories and agree to join Maple Tree. They travel to the level 1 promotion dungeon to get the sisters to level 2 quickly via Maple's giant turtle, and this time Sally and Maple make short work of the boss now that they have more experience and are more skilled. Reassured, the two sisters introduce themselves to Maple Tree's guildies as Mai and Yui, to which everyone is happy to receive, and they smash their guild table in the process. Maple then brings the new kids out to power level through dungeons to get their level up. They farm the same dungeon over and over and over, and soon they are now level 20. They've also obtained new skills, doubling their strength and allowing them to wield dual-handed weapons in one hand as well. The next day, Maple Tree's members each went to grind and train as Sally brings Mai and Yui to learn more about dodging, while Kanade upgrades her Akashic Records cube, allowing her to store skills within the cube now. Meanwhile, Kasumi finds Maple stuck in a wool ball and tries to shear the excess wool, as she's gotten a skill that allows her to sprout fur and wool on demand. In any case, Maple later discovers a NPC quest asking her to retrieve medicine, to which Maple cheeses by using her floating turtle and avoids all the mobs, allowing for an easy completion of the quest, though it would appear that this was a quest chain and Maple needs to keep at it until the final quest, where she discovers an Archangel's elixir that the NPC needs. The elixir is used and the angel appears on the NPC, and Maple gets bestowed a new skill from the angel. Later, she puts on a new set of gear that she had ease made and then shows everyone the new skill she's obtained from the quest, which basically turns her into an angel and allows her to render her allies completely invulnerable to damage, so long as Maple is still standing. Such exquisite game balance, oh my. Anyway, the third event starts, and this time it involves defeating cows and obtaining their bells. They get an extra boost in cow power from all the wool Maple has been cheesing so far. Everyone goes to find cows to defeat, while Maple decides to take a fall, smashes and creates a small crater before discovering herself within a church. She battles a demon ghost knight boss thing, and the demon ghost knight thing grows several extra appendages and then ingests Maple. Maple of course starts munching on the boss from the inside and defeats it, learning some pretty atrocious skills in the process. Meanwhile, we see the Flame Emperor mass grilling beef as they go about doing their cow event. In the end, Maple Tree wasn't able to become top, but they still did well enough to gain a massive reward for everyone. The guild then sets off to defeat the Floor Guardian Treant, but somehow Maple shows off her new skills and completely overpowers the floor boss. She finishes the boss off with her new skill Atrocity, which essentially turns her into a boss herself, as she handily defeats the Treant in no time at all, to the shock of her guildies. In any case, they move up the floor and seize a machine city, and they decide to split up and check out the new area. Maple flies through a fog and gets lost and falls, discovering a hidden research lab with a boss named the King of Machines, who has since lost his way and wanted to make Maple into rubbish. She easily defeats the boss, however, and receives a golden cog. The defeated boss then evolves and transforms, but Maple apparently can also transform now using the skill called Machine God, and gains a Gundam suit. The two engages in a mech battle, upon which Maple handily defeats yet again, now in her super OP Gundam mobile suit. She then shows off her new skill to her guild as they lament that her appendages seem to be growing in the numbers perpetually. We are then shown a scene involving the top guild, Holy Sword, as they discuss thus the need to scout out Maple Tree. Maple Tree, on the other hand, though, continues to prepare for the 4th guild event as everyone levels up and gains new skills. Meanwhile, Frederica, the person sent by Holy Sword to scout out Maple Tree, appears and Sully proposes a duel with her, with the loser giving up information. Frederica agrees. Their duel commences as the mage Frederica battles the swordswoman Sully. Sully shouts Coke's attack and Cascade while attacking, making Frederica think that those two are new skills. Frederica then forfeits as she believes she has already obtained enough information on Sully and thus decides to reveal some information about the Flame Emperors as discussed previously. Later on, Sully reveals to the rest of the guild members that those two skills were actually fake so as to spread false information, much to the surprise of everyone. The mascot soon appears and explains the rules of the 4th guild event, such as how size will impact how much points they'll earn. This event involves fighting for guild orbs and stealing orbs from others. With more orbs obtained and held, the more points they'll get in the end. Death penalties also exist, and 5 deaths in this event will mean that the player is permanently out of the event. Maple Tree then sorts out their strategies involving their lack of personnel, and everyone makes their last preparations as the event starts. PvP soon occurs as Maple Tree's attacking forces prove to be rather overwhelming, and they easily grab some orbs. Sully then goes out to create chaos amongst the enemy guilds as she steals orbs and then leads enemy guilds against each other while she takes everyone's orbs. Meanwhile, Holy Sword demonstrates their superiority as they repel the invaders. Sully then meets a rogue from Holy Sword and they duel it out. He soon takes his leave upon seeing Sully's fake Cascade skill, and Sully goes back to stealing orbs. This time from the Flame Emperors as their guild master makes the pursuit herself. Sully manages to escape and the Flame Emperor's GM carpet bombs the area, but to no avail, and also reveals a hidden cute site unknown to her guild. Maple Tree faces their first attack, but Angel Maple's protection was too OP for mere mobs to go through. They soon get wiped as befits their status, and thus Maple Tree's orbs stay safe for the time being. The battles for orbs intensifies as we see Holy Sword's GM making short work of enemy mobs. He has managed to obtain a large number of orbs in the meantime, while on the other hand, Maple Tree has managed to obtain 10 orbs so far. Sully takes off again to hunt for more, and Kanade also ventures out to lighten Sully's load. Kanade easily grabs the enemy's orbs quite literally before quickly diving out of there. The rest of the guild also decides to go outside on the offensive to better defend the orbs that they've taken. Sully in the meantime continues to create terror and chaos as she robs enemies of their orbs, totaling 10 by the morning, but soon is surrounded by enemies. Meanwhile, base defense is going on swimmingly as Kuromu reveals his skill, allowing him to have a chance of reviving upon reaching 0 HP. Kasumi makes short work of some mobs as well. Sally finds herself unable to shake off her pursuers as Frederica keeps up the pressure, but still manages to wipe out a good number of Holy Sword's forces in the meantime. Frederica realizes that she has been fed fake skills information and attacks Sally herself, but Sally evades. Sally's stamina is ultimately exhausted as more and more reinforcements come in. Maple, however, then makes a grand appearance in her angel form and defends Sully from their attacks. She then goes into her Gundam mobile suit and launches a massive AoE barrage on the Holy Sword forces and turns them into hot stew. However, Holy Sword takes this opportunity to launch an attack on Maple Tree's base, and we see Ninja Boy appear. The offensive team then realizes that their base was actually under attack and tries to rush back, but Mai and Yui manages to get a few hits in before ultimately falling to the Ninja Boy. Maple and Sully make it back just in time and then swiftly ropes Ninja Boy in before devouring him and thus saving their orbs. Mai and Yui then respawns as the rest of the guild gathers. Their orbs remain safe, however, as they now have 22 stolen orbs, which should get them quite high up in the ranks if they can keep them there for 3 hours. Sully then shows them a map that she has made in her time outside, and this allows Maple then to take on to the offensive as all guild locations were already reviewed. Maple and gang then begins their ride of terror and steals orbs as they go. Their next target is the Flame Emperors as they literally just walk through their traps unscathed. Flame Emperors valiantly defends as their guildmaster makes it back just in time. A fierce battle ensues as Maple's full defense makes it terrifically difficult to land any meaningful damage in. Maple sends Mai and Yui away as the Flame Emperors continue to chip away at Maple, while Maple finally makes it close enough to do damage using her skills. The Flame Emperor's guildmaster then uses one of her ultimate skills to trap Maple within, leaving Maple with no choice but to reveal her Gundam suit to the Flame Emperors. She launches massive AoE attacks on the Flame Emperors and forces their retreat. Maple, however, thinks otherwise and reveals her Strike Freedom mode as she blasts them all away. But after that, she finds that the orb has already been taken away by the Flame Emperors as a last resort, making that fight somewhat unnecessary. Mai and Yui then switches to Plan B and starts attacking other guilds in the area and renews their tour of terror once more. At the end of the day though, they manage to hold on to the top 10 positions despite being the only small-sized guild left on the leaderboards. They rotate their defense and offense as Kanade and East defends their base, while Maple dive bombs enemies. Meanwhile, in the afterlife, that players gather and discuss about the event. As the event reaches its climax, Maple Tree decides to move on to the next phase as more and more guilds are without orbs at this point. Sally and Holy Sword both realize what each other is up to, and thus begins the inevitable battle between Maple Tree and Holy Sword as Holy Sword's core geared members appear. Their battle commences as Maple Tree's members are clearly outgeared and are at a disadvantage. Holy Sword's guild master, whom we shall be calling the Testosterone Boy from now on, keeps Maple in check so that she can assist her guildies. Maple Tree is gradually pushed back as Holy Sword continues their offensive. Maple is forced to cancel her Angel skill as Testosterone Boy launches a powerful attack. However, Maple survives with 1 HP remaining due to her skill and attacks back. Testosterone Boy then takes out Ease upon seeing an opportunity and thus keeps Maple at bay. Other members of Maple Tree then tries their best to hold their own as they slowly get picked off. Maple's attacks are rendered useless by Testosterone Boy as he launches a testosterone-fueled attack. Maple thus decides to forgo defense and unleashes her counter skill, and finally deals significant damage to Testosterone Boy, who also survives due to having the same 1 HP skill. And at this point, the writers have had enough of Testosterone Boy's BS, so they decide to let Maple launch her atrocity skill. She defeats the Testosterone Boy finally, and she makes quick work of everyone else, and wins in a totally not overpowered manner. However, as it's only day 2 and much of Maple's skills have already been reviewed, Maple Tree decides to move on to the next phase, which focuses on killing off as many guilds as they can. Maple Tree thus decides to launch an offensive with Maple in the boss monster form. Many guilds get instantly wiped as Maple Tree continues their rampage, as many players watch us on from the afterlife. Meanwhile, the Flame Emperors are busily defending their base as waves upon waves of enemies pour out. They soon realize that Maple was also heading this way as they make their last stand. Maple makes her landing in style, but instead of attacking the Flame Emperors, she wipes out their enemies instead, leaving a confused Flame Emperors behind. Meanwhile, the rest of Maple Tree continues their death matches all over. They pull off their next move, which involves making many copies of Maple, as if one wasn't enough already, and a massacre of gigantic proportions soon commence. And after several hours of battle, we are treated to a barren wasteland with 7 Maples standing in the horizon as the developers fall into despair as the event has essentially concluded with only 6 guilds remaining by day 3. The devs then consider nerfing Maple but withdraws that decision as she has become quite the mascot for the game, drawing in lots of new players and attention to the game. Maple herself though is busy celebrating the 4th event's success with her guild as they ended up in the top 3, though somehow Holy Sword and the Flame Emperors were also present, now apparently friends after the event has concluded. As we end off this episode of Maple's adventures, we can safely conclude that being in the extreme end of things is most definitely not a bad thing. So everyone should just forget about balance and go all the way to the extreme. With that, thanks for watching, see you guys and take care.